be loving you always. What's up? It's your man Rico. It's my cool shirt that Kababi drew back in '95. It's called a Pink Beret. I had it made into a t-shirt. Shout out to Kababi. Y'all see it right there? C-A-B-I, Bayak. And he's on Instagram, so shout out to the brother. I had it made into a t-shirt. Pretty cool, huh? It's called a Pink Beret. But anyway, I didn't go live to show y'all my t-shirt, which I'm very proud of, and love the painting. I came in just to give my thoughts on the Woman King, and it's a movie that has that was brought out. You know, not just put everything. I just put all this under the umbrella of propaganda. And no, I have not gone to see the movie because I'm one of those persons who likes to kind of do a little research for some movies, and this is one of those that kind of red flags kind of went all over the place, you know. And first of all, shout out to all of those natural born researchers out there who believe in reading a book, who believe in Googling, who believe in getting some background on certain movies before they decide to go out or before they encourage others. You know, but a lot of times when they put movies out and it's featuring us and it's supposed to be about us, and then you see that the writers are probably usually white and Jewish, and, you know, pretty much like a lot of the black TV shows of the 80s and 90s, white, liberal, and white Jewish producers and writers. And so I've checked out a lot of people's perspectives. I turned to the scholars, our modern day scholars, as relates to what they think about this presentation called The Woman King. And the first thing that stood out to me was, when does a woman ever become a king? I remember a show that used to come on. It's called Xena Warrior, not Warrior King, but they called her Warrior Princess. So when white women are, I guess, are looked at as superheroes or you know, tough, they still get to be girls. But you know, even when they're supposed, like Wonder Woman was still feminine, and you still want to kind of give to Wonder Woman. Even though she was bing, 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 blocking bullets and all that, she was still feminine and still fine. You just name off Supergirl, all of them. Batgirl, still sexy. You know, the original Batgirl. But all of a sudden when they make black women these soldiers and superheroes, and I guess these soldiers, they look so hard and masculine and very LGBT-esque, very rough. And it's always portrayed, you know, by the dark-skinned black women. Yeah, this stuff I pay attention to. And again, no, I have not gone to see the movie, nor do I have any plans on going to see this movie. But I've been sitting back kind of checking out people's reviews of the movie. But first, let me go with the scholars. Shout out to the Green Gorilla, the Green Gorilla, or the G with the PhD, Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. The Dr. Ronald Neal. All those who've, I had to turn to the scholars, and to some of the sisters on YouTube, you know, Pink, what's that? Pink Banks? I forget her name. But anyway, the sisters on YouTube who are also level-headed. Pink Book, yeah, I think Pink Book, something like that. And Erica Lachey's and folks like that who are also giving their thoughts on the movie. But it was one scholar that I was kind of surprised by, maybe disappointed, and that was Dr. Anthony Broder, who wrote the Broder Files. Y'all know the very popular African-centered book from the 90s, or maybe early 2000s. Anthony Broder, he said the movie was fantastic. It was great. It really makes you want to go and study African history and blah blah blah. And so it's okay. And when I hear mainly the masses of black women, it was a great movie. The acting was great. It was very entertaining. That's what I hear people say, but no one really voluntarily says, I think it was historically inaccurate. Wow, why are the women so masculine and they have a gay male character, which is, I learned that it was a fictitious character that they created, the gay dude in the movie. And then you had the movie where, of course, the women kicked the men's asses, right? Just to put it briefly, this is what people who've gone to the movie, this is what they're sharing. And you know, Jewish and liberal Hollywood, they're not going to put out movies that make black men look good. And they're not going to put out movies where black men and black women are in love with each other, especially dark-skinned black women and dark-skinned black men. They're going to keep that division. Because, you know, when they conquered countries in Africa, you know, during the beginning of, I guess, the 17th, 18th centuries, there were no women that looked like Mariah Carey or Boris Kodjoe. They all looked like Don Cheadle and Cicely Tyson. And so then Europe and Africa will always have this conflict. They'll never make dark-skinned blacks look like superheroes and tough and all that. The goal has always been to make sure the darker they are, the more we try to attack them and make them look weak. But we'll push the lighter-skinned folks ahead. This is not hating on anybody because of how they were born with their parents. I'm just telling you how I understand racism, white supremacy, how it works, and its agenda. But if you don't understand any of that, everything else you see would only confuse you. Shout out to Brother Neely Fuller and Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, as well as Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Julia Hare, and others. The scholars, y'all got to start reading. And so as I hear more about this movie, I learned about the Agobi tribe and the Dahomey women and how they were just, man, they were bloodthirsty slave traders. So to the point that the white people who they were selling Africans to into slavery, the British had to make them stop selling their own people to them. Isn't that something? But that doesn't get them off the hook for being the racist slave traders that they are, the British and the Portuguese. So what I've learned is that black people have no interest in the truth. And black women haven't read a book since 1993. Yeah, black women in general don't read. They don't. Well, but they claim to be the most educated, but they don't read a damn thing. Because you would think that by this movie having majority black female cast, that they would really take a fine-tooth comb and go through this and make sure that the women, that the story was true and that black women be made to look good. But if you understand white supremacy, white racism, and the feminist agenda, unfortunately, a lot of black women have bought into that feminist agenda. Meaning, we're number one, we're tough, we're independent. We don't need no man. And so down with men, they're poisonous, they should leave here. Even a YouTuber by the name of Cynthia G tells black women on her YouTube channel, if you get pregnant, if you know it's a boy, abort it, terminate the pregnancy. And this is nothing new, black women's vitriolic behavior or vitriolic taste towards black men. The only men who will ever want them, I don't know who they think else gonna want them other than black men. But I digress. They bought into this in 1965 when Lyndon Baines Johnson, who used to say nigger for breakfast, he used to brush his teeth with nigger toothpaste and gargle with nigger water. He said, hey, y'all kick him out, I can make life a little easier for y'all. And then before him, the white feminist, Gloria Steinem, went to a black woman and say, hey, I'm going to put you on the cover of my feminist magazine so you can be the face of the new independent black woman, separate from her man. While at the same time, Gloria Steinem got a husband. And barely 34% of now black women can barely even have the thought of giving a husband. While over 53% of white women are married, 54% of Latina women are married, And the list, and that same around a number, close to 55% of Asian women have husbands, and black women have in the bottom 30% of getting married. But yet they still feel the need to try to one up on black men. Come on, somebody. So this movie is part of an ongoing misandrist. If y'all know what that means, Google misandrist. You know what misogyny is: sexist, misogyny, oppressive. Y'all know all of that, right? So look up the word anti-man misogyny. Anti-black male misogyny. See, here's black women, unfortunately, in general, have bought into this us against them when it comes to our race. Black women versus black men. And yeah, there's some players on the black male side as well. But I think black women go hard because there's something that they're looking for that they cannot seem to get it through. They keep slipping through their finger. That is white male approval. And they want equality with the white woman. And I have to tell you, no group of men has ever forsaken his woman for another group of women. It's never happened in history, and it's not going to happen now. So they get to put this movie out making the dark-skinned sisters all look like Terry Crews. And they just, I mean, and no one loves dark-skinned women more than I do, I swear. But I had to learn in my 30s that, Rico, you're not going to have a dark-skinned girlfriend anymore. I mean, a healthy one. You're not going to have a dark-skinned girlfriend because they want something that I can't give them. That is a light-skinned or biracial baby. See, me and Serena Williams and Venus Williams and Tika Sumpter and Janet Jackson and rapper Eve, we could never date because I couldn't give them what they've been able to do for themselves. That is, get a white man and get mixed babies. That's what it's all about. And they say, well, love is love. No, it isn't. It's that self-hatred. You say, well, black men date outside every black. No, men just date. We don't care. But women, y'all a different group. And so you've allowed this movie to be almost like a call to action film for you when it actually makes you look worse. So I'm glad the boycott is going on. I'm glad it's working. So they're putting out this propaganda. Oh my God, the movie creamed #1 supreme at the box office with $19 million. And guess what? It took them $50 million to make the movie. They're going to have to make $50 million plus to even break even. So actually the movie is a flop because it's BS. But I find it amazing that whenever we go to the movies, particularly this movie, no one cares about the history. It was entertaining. It was exciting. And not knowing that the people put this stuff out here, that the people actually put the movie out to distract us. The people who put out this movie don't give a damn about us. Don't give a damn about us knowing our history. Let me tell y'all something about when Jewish Hollywood puts out a movie that's supposed to be historically correct for black folks. And have you ever known a guard ever given the key to the person they got locked up? It's not going to happen. It's never happened. And so, but unfortunately, black women, they crave for attention so badly that they even let some BS like this come through and they actually think they're winning. And then when they get done being made a fool of, guess who there to catch them? All right, sister. Hey, queen. We still love you. You know, we still got those brothers, still call them queens. We still got all this going on. And black men are right to boycott this movie. And the sisters who are thinking logically, who read some history like most folks have, you know, and I trust our scholars. Because a Jewish scholar can't tell me nothing about African history, about Africans. Because they won't tell their role in their enslavement and oppression of African people in various on the continent. And so they're going to pick a group of women to make heroes out of. But let me ask y'all a question. Before I ask you the question, let me throw a shout out to Lupita Nyong'o. See, y'all, have y'all seen the story of Lupita Nyong'o? Did y'all know Lupita Nyong'o? Y'all know her from Black Panther and 12 Years a Slave. She was supposed to play the lead role that Viola Davis accepted. Lupita went on an expedition to the Agobi tribe, what is now called Benin. She went over there and she began to talk to the people, and they gave her the history of the Adobe people, those women who were very brutal in their capturing of their own people and selling them to the British and the Portuguese. And the people over in Benin in Africa told her these stories. She was not aware of the history of the Dahomey tribe. And I remember I saw this, and this little documentary that she did, and tears began to flow from her eyes. And I think, well, this is why I learned later on that I think this is the reason why she turned down the role. But a 57-year-old Viola Davis, who said in an article about 2 years ago, there should be more love scenes and kissing scenes. I may have added the kissing, but more love-making scenes between black women and white men. Viola Davis, who when she accepted her Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for the movie Fences, she got up there and made a speech supposedly about, I guess, Sojourner Truth or Harriet, about we ain't we a woman, white women, black women together. Viola Davis is one of those dark-skinned women who has this fetish for white. She wants to be next to white folks so bad. See, I listen. Well, a lot of people aren't paying attention. I can be entertained, but I'm always paying attention because I know sometime, at some point, I'm gonna have to regurgitate what I heard and put it in context. See, Viola Davis, so busy, she wants to be Hollywood so badly that she doesn't have a problem with getting in a movie that she knew was historically inaccurate. Now, let me get to the question for those of you who are going to this movie and talking about we need to support black films. Well, that's very interesting for those of you who say we need to support black films. How come I didn't see none of y'all at the theater with me when Birth of a Nation came out? I didn't see none of y'all at the movie theater with me. But y'all went to see the comedy about slavery called Django Unchained that was written and produced and directed by this racist white man called Quentin Tarantino. I didn't even see y'all at the movies for 12 Years a Slave. So what is it about movies that look closer to the truth that the masses of black people don't want to come and see? But y'all are going to see some foolishness like The Woman King and Django Unchained, a comedy about slavery or slavery themed. But you wouldn't go see an actual movie that was written by a black man, produced by a black man, starred in by a black man, funded, come on somebody, by a black man by the name of Nate Parker. And let me tell you something, how real this movie was. Talking about Marcus Garvey, Birth of a Nation, Marcus Garvey. Nat Turner. Yeah, Nat Turner's rebellion with Nat Turner. And even in the movie, he saw revenge for when his black wife was assaulted, beaten, and raped by a gang of white men. He went in and straightened his business completely up. It didn't have a white savior like the Black Panther movie, like the Django movie. It didn't have a white savior, none of that. He straightened his business up. And something, I can expect white folks not want to see it, but why did it bother you to go see a movie? Oh, wait a minute. Those same black feminists and mindless dribble black folks who are going to see The Woman King, who just want to be entertained regardless of the historical context. They join these feminist white black women who are funded and egged on by white liberal feminist women to say, hey, he was accused of rape back in college. When people say, did you go see the movie? Well, let's go. Did you do the research on Nate Parker? Nate Parker was accused and found the girl's story was not credible because she lied on him. And number two, he was acquitted by an all-white jury at his white school, his university. So whenever I'm asked, did you attend the movie? I did what I was supposed to do. But did you do what you were supposed to do before you decided not to go see Birth of a Nation? Because that was the movie that would have been a turning point in the educational level of black folks. But again, we just like to laugh. We like to be entertained, but we don't like to be educated. And especially if it's by a black man. Oh yeah, he has a white wife. That was the main problem right there. He was called a sexist, a misogynist, misogynist. But white women wrote this movie. You know, they got white husbands, and a couple of them are lesbians. Then a biracial chick who was adopted by white folks, Gina Blythewood, who did Love and Basketball. Biracial chick who was raised by a white Jewish and a Hispanic, and she identifies herself as, allegedly, reportedly, as a Jewish woman. So, y'all go ahead on with your feeble questions. What you need to do is do more research. Because there's plenty of movies out there that was accurate. But let me tell y'all something. Let me ask those of you out there who's wondering, Rico, why this a black movie? Why do we like to be entertained so much? At least, you know, I can understand you go see Soul Plane. We know that's mindless dribble. You go a lot of stuff like The Best Man. We don't expect much from these movies. They're for entertainment. But when you have movies that's supposed to be historically correct or based on a true story, and it's talking about us as a people of African descent, we don't want to do any more research on it? There's something wrong with the American Negro. He does not want that smoke. He does not. He or she, the American Negro, does not want to stand up and be the men that God created. Be the women that God created. Y'all scared of that work. So you stay asleep wanting to laugh. Mary Mack said, this is not a black movie. I know, but that's how they present it, because they got all these black chicks in it. And the black folks, you know. But, you know, let me ask y'all something. Do y'all think the Jewish community will let some non-Jewish people write their story and make Hitler look like a hero? Do y'all think that? Do y'all think they even make Hitler even appear to be human? Did y'all think Jewish people went to the movies to watch Schindler's List? You think they would allow some non-Jews to write that movie, produce it? Do you think they would have been excited over a non-Jewish person writing a movie just because a bunch of Jews are starring in a movie, mainly Jewish women? You think Jewish women would have been okay with a bunch of a film about Jewish people and written by non-Jewish people, funded by non-Jewish people, put in a movie theater by non-Jewish people? You think they'd be celebrated? Yes, it's got a lot of Jewish people in the movie, so it has to be great. It was well acted. Man, it was, woo, it was great. Everyone go out and see it. Jews don't do that. See, there are people who know who they are. We don't. So we let anybody tell our story. And we get upset. We get really upset when someone say, hey, snap out of it. That's just a dream. Hold on one second. Let me see who this is over there. Okay. Let me see who that is. What's going on over there? But anyway, so y'all know what I'm saying? That's why I won't see this movie. I might see it for free at some point, you know, somewhere, but I'm not. See, when you boycott, it means you don't go to the movie. You can wait till it come on HBO Max. You don't go to the movie. That's what boycotting is. The way y'all boycotted Birth of a Nation, y'all didn't go to the movie, even though you didn't do any research on it. You didn't care about any research. All you knew was a black dude and some black chicks got mad about it, and he supposedly raped a white girl in college. Oh yeah, he got a white wife. See, so don't ask anybody if they went to see this movie if y'all didn't go see Birth of a Nation. Okay? So the question is null and void. Because you didn't do any research before you boycott. All you knew was you kept your money away. That's called boycotting. I know a lot of us don't know about boycotting because we can't keep black women out of Asian beauty supply houses for nothing. So we're going to have to learn, you know, well, maybe we don't know how to boycott other people, but we can boycott the shit out of us, can't we? Each other. But anyway, for those of you who go ahead, but it's not a debate with me because I have sense. I got good sense because I learned about the scholars. I learned about racism, white supremacy in the early 90s. Shout out to Grambling State University. Shout out to Russ College. You know, shout out to the National African American Student Leadership Conference there at Russ College. They brought a lot of the speakers there, a lot of the scholars who taught us. And I got a chance to read the books, and I met the scholars, the authors of these books in the 90s, in the early 2000s. That's when a lot of you were being entertained. I was reading and meeting with those scholars. A lot of them passed on. A lot of them are really old now. You know, but But they left the blueprint. Who can I say? Dr. Claude Anderson is still with us, trying to teach us about racism and white supremacy. We don't care. Who else? Dr. Amos Wilson left the blueprint. Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben Yakahana, Brother Aswa Kwesi is right here in Dallas, still trying to teach us. But we want to be, as my brother would always tell me, Rico, I know you try to help your people. You're always sharing your thoughts with them. My brother's always telling me. My brother doesn't have a degree, a college degree. He's a high school diploma, and he's been a blue-collar guy all of our lives. But he says some of the smartest things, and I'm too stubborn to listen. Rico, stop trying to talk to black folks. They have no interest in learning anything about being black. He said, do what everyone else does, even black entertainers and black politicians. Make them laugh, give them something to eat, and what else? Make them laugh, give them something to eat, and something about sex or something like that. He gave me the three things, the three keys to success with my own people, and I'm too stubborn because I was introduced to my blackness by our scholars. And so I'm trying to work on it, but my good conscience won't allow me to do that. See, I'm not a Viola Davis. I'm not trying to get in so good that I even sell my own people out just so I can try to get another Oscar or get a pat on the back from the white society if I'm doing a movie that's some bullshit. And then a movie that makes her men look weak. And what's up with these black actors and actresses who volunteer to do these roles? Because they have a responsibility as well. See, the white Jews and the white liberals can write whatever they want to. They can write whatever they want to write. They can produce whatever they want to produce. But see, you black actors and black actresses that volunteer to play these weird-ass roles, thugs, prostitutes, gay, murderers, and all that stuff, y'all are just as much to blame as anybody else. So anyway, continue to boycott. I'm not going to go see that BS. If we continue to have your thoughts about it, it's not a debate with me. For those of you who might be pissed because I may be ruining it for you, you ain't never gave a shit about what I thought. You ain't never cared about what I thought. You still did what you want to do. And I'm going to continue to do what I want to do. And no, maybe another movie that comes out that I'll go to, but one thing about it, I take a lot of notes from how Jewish people, how Asian people, how Hispanics, how everyone else carry themselves in this country. Mr. Ernest said, the circus loves its clowns. You are correct, sir. But anyway, hey, that's our people. And so we'll get it right one day. But again, those other groups know how to handle themselves. They know what disrespect is. They're not so desperate to be accepted into the mainstream or get that white pat on the back. They're not. They're not going to let you put out a lie about them. They're not going to let you do it. But we just want a black movie so bad that. And number two, we want one so bad. Number three, we act like we can't fund our own movies. There are a lot of African Americans who've written some wonderful stories, but they have to go to YouTube or something to put the dang thing out. And then a lot of them who put the stuff out there, they go straight to that formula: thug, prostitute, mistress, LGBT. Damn, the 90s was our last. As it relates to decent television, some decent movies, but, it is what it is. I just want to share my thoughts. Continue to boycott. I'm sure they all gave great performances, but I don't know how they did it in such good conscience, because you will never have Jewish and Asian other people purposely doing stuff to mislead their own group. We'll do anything for $1, and that's a damn shame. But I digress. I've held y'all long enough. Thank y'all so much. And I'm up to 172 subscribers. When I get to 200, I'm going to start going live and doing live podcasts on my Rico the Opinionist YouTube channel. And then my book is still for sale. It's right here on this page and on my YouTube channel. It's called The Greatest Pain Ever Felt. Conversation with the absent biological father who dared to be found. It's only $10. I have it in PDF format. So check me out. It's only $10. Send me an email address with your PayPal, your Cash App, and I'll email it to you. As soon as you send it to me, I'll get it to you. And in the meantime, hey, hit your boy on that Cash App and that PayPal, hey, just on GP. If you're cool with me, fool with me. Shout out to Raider J, back in my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee. Y'all be cool. Mary Max, call me good when I hang up. When I get off this live. Talk to you later, y'all. Peace.